gauge R&R test, and this is what it looks like. It's kind of a lot at first. I think of it as a pretty complicated, like, ANOVA test where there's a lot of interaction effects. It's like a three-way ANOVA. And with repeatability, that's going to be this EV metric. In this case, it's 20.9. They call that equipment variation. You know, how much variation is there within equipment? Whereas reproducibility would be the operator or appraiser variation, because that might be different. And within that, we can calculate the variation that is associated with the operator themselves, which would be 26.4. And you can compare that to the interaction between operator and part. So now we get back into this interaction effect that we introduced with two-way ANOVA, because it might matter. Operators, you know, go to this part, this piece of equipment, because they're more familiar with it or something. Maybe there is some sort of interaction effect. And we get the gauge R&R, which think of it as both repeatability and reproducibility. In this case, we get a measure of 33.9, which sums all of that up. Okay, and then we use this guideline here where we're going to compare the precision, I'm looking at the bottom left here, to the tolerance ratio, which is going to be the R&R, which is this gauge R&R number, divided by the specification limits. Okay, and depending on whatever that ratio is, like in this case it's 0.42, we're going to say that gauge system is not satisfactory because it's above 0.3. So it's pretty complicated, right? But it's yet another simple quality tool where at the end of the day we just want one number. And we're going to compare that to this table on the bottom right and say, is this satisfactory or not? And we need to figure out a way to get this variation due. 20 and 26, that's quite a bit of variation with within a single factor. So what can we do? Can we do something with the equipment? Is it old equipment, or does it need preventive maintenance? Something's going on with this equipment. Or well, let's look at the appraisers. Are they all using the same standard operating procedure? Do they have enough experience or training to do the job? Or do they have enough motivation? Is the culture within the organization one that would inspire them to do to have minimal variation every single time, or are they just kind of winging it? Okay.